We have multiple major Minnesota Wild updates, including an update ahead of tonight's first game of the NHL season, as well as Bill Guerin speaking out about the contract of Kirill Kaprizov for the first time, with a bunch of other moves being made across the NHL. We're going to be breaking that down, as well as going over multiple other reports regarding a signing, which we saw yesterday due to the absence of Nico Sturm. We're going to be touching on all this here in this video. Ladies and gentlemen, before we do jump into this video, though, be sure to hit the sub button if you haven't already. We're making sure you're staying up to date with everything Minnesota Wild here. We get daily videos out throughout the season. You won't want to miss it. Every video right here, Spotify, MSN, wherever you get your, whatever platform you get all your stuff. But we need to jump straight into this. I got a bunch of topics here today, ladies and gentlemen, so be sure to stick around till the end when we get to what the most recent conversation about Kirill Kaprizov is regarding Bill Guerin when asked the question if he regrets this contract. You won't want to miss that, so sure stick around. But I want to touch on the game first that we're seeing tonight and go over a few updates that we have. Of course, Michael Russo coming out with this here yesterday. The lines that we are seeing: Kirill Kaprizov, Rossi, Boldy, Foligno, Eriksson Ek, Tarasenko, Trenton Hartman, Johansson, Ogren, Hynes, Hynes, Yurov will have to wait for his NHL debut. Middleton, Faber, Boyum, Spurgeon, Bogosian, Jiricek, Brodin, and Hunt on that fourth pairing. Now, we do have a few updates confirming a lot of questions that we did have. The first of which, Danila Yurov is going to be out for this game, not making his debut just yet. We'll have to wait, and of course, with Nico Sturm now out, there's going to be a lot of moving parts. So you could even really say that Danila Yurov will play in Game 2. I think there's a lot of moving parts that we're going to have to see from Bill Guerin, John Hynes, what they want to do with this lineup, and if another move does end up being made from this team. But as of right now, these are the lines that we're seeing tonight. Jonas Brodin not making his debut just yet. He still has to wait for that. Still injured with Damon Hunt there on that fourth pairing. It may be, once again, as early as a few games' time, depending on whatever happens. But as of right now, Brodin is out for this game. And let's remember, Nico Sturm missing a significant amount of time, so Yurov won't play tomorrow, but Hynes did now at this point commit to this, as this came out yesterday as well, yesterday afternoon. So we can now pretty much assume what this lineup is going to be, and it's going to be exactly this. So be sure to keep an eye on this tonight, especially now near the bottom six, depending on whatever's going to happen in this moving parts, because of course Danila Yurov can very easily jump into the lineup here for any of those players in the bottom six, probably all except for Ryan Hartman at this point, and especially with a big center in Nico Sturm out for quite some time. Now, a lot of this was in conversation about what possible moves could be made. We spoke about that yesterday with this coming out. Jack Roslovic, was he a possible option according to Chris Johnson? He was, but someone on Twitter asked to Michael Russo, is Jack Roslovic a possible addition here? Here soon sounds possible according to Chris Johnson. Michael Russo straight said no. And after that, of course, we did see him sign with the Edmonton Oilers for $1.5 million for 1 year. That is certainly a contract that I would have been willing to give him. And reports are saying, and of course, Michael Russo did also come out with this, that Jack Roslovic did also ask for more money from the Minnesota Wild. So at least there was a conversation in there from what we've been seeing and what we're hearing. But chose to go to the Edmonton Oilers instead. Now, that does leave a lot of questions as to what the plan is going to be going forward for this Minnesota Wild team. And Michael Russo did say they have enough cap space to make a move if need be, if they don't think that the younger players are capable of having and holding down this successful bottom six. You know, at the end of the day, I think there are options they do have in the AHL, but I think they want a much more veteran type of player as a fourth line center if things are not going in the direction. I don't think the Wild are going to make a move just yet. I think it could be very, very soon, however, if they notice in the first 3 to 4 games that things are certainly struggling on that bottom six. But at this point, there are not a whole lot of players left. And when we go take a look at the free agents right now, there are a few notable names, some that are a bit interesting on the side of kind of, would they even be willing to play anymore? A few that are fully retired. I mean, Pat Maroon's retired. Oliver Wahlstrom is someone that is here, but still an option. There's a few here that I did omit from this list because they fully were retired. We saw another retirement a couple days ago. Thomas Tatar, his questions are all there, but when you're looking at the centers, Craig Smith is there, 36 years old once again. Whether or not he wants to come back, I think is still a big question, but of the list that you have here, there's a few wingers, a few forwards, a few centers that can really make their way in if needed, and this is only a slim list, so when we do take a look at this and kind of break down what we've been hearing and seeing, it certainly seems like these are all slim possibilities, but possibilities that if things start to go in the wrong direction for the Minnesota Wild, the list may open up quite a bit bigger for Bill Guerin and the Minnesota Wild. So, of these players here, or any other ones that are free agents, maybe even a trade, who would you want to see jump in on the fourth line here, or even the third line, depending on what happens, to replace, for the time being, Nico Sturm, as he is, of course, set to miss quite a bit of time, according to reports. And, I mean, when you're seeing it, the Lions having Height, Boyman, a Danila Yurov debut, I mean, all of this still here is going to be going game by game at this point. So, I'm curious to see how you guys think this will play out. Of course, Bill Guerin has a lot of things going in mind right now, I would assume, and especially with everything that he's been seeing as of late, I think he wants to make sure that this Wild team is ready to go. As, of course, he also did say to Kirill Kaprizov that we're ready to roll. I mean, it's just a matter of time that they add more, they continue to add. They got the cap space to do it, as we've seen. So, I think it's going to be a matter of time until we do see some moves like this happen, but I want to know what you guys think in the comments below. But we do have a very interesting thing to finish this video off now. And as I mentioned at the start of the video, Bill Guerin has spoken out about Kirill Kaprizov and everything going on with that contract. And there's been many contracts already signed since Kirill Kaprizov did get his. Of course, most notably Connor McDavid, a 2-year, $12.5. Very, very low contract. Keep that in mind. That's not what he's worth. He could have gotten upwards of 20 easily. Kyle Connor yesterday, or the day before, Jack Eichel. I mean, all of these around the $13.5, $12.5 million mark. And now you see Kirill Kaprizov at 17.5. Bill Guerin was not afraid to come out and speak his mind on this. He says, look, everybody's got a price to where they want to play in their market, and Kirill is worth that to us. He is important to us, and we wouldn't take the chance of letting him go. That's great for those other teams, but it's still great for us that we have him for 9 years. And yeah, Jack is at 13.5, and that's great. But Kirill is that important to us. If we let him go or even flirt with it, who knows? The worst case scenario is definitely that he leaves. It's worse than paying him $17 million. And all of this really stemmed from one thing here, and that's right now what he was asked, and kind of the idea of what people were saying to him, directly or indirectly, saying it's easy to be an armchair quarterback and say call Kaprizov's agent Paul Theophanous, bluff and threaten to let him walk, and in 10 months' time replace him in free agency. Not as easy to do it, and I mean, going with that idea, knowing how tough of an agent Theophanous is on GMs and on teams, he wants the best for his player. He'll let him walk. I mean, that's something very, very, important about this kind of idea that nobody really talks about is how much these agents want their players to do good, because it's also a payday for them. So if they're threatening to not give him as much money as he wants, they're going to be kind of flirting with the option of letting him go. So I think it was a very smart option here from Bill Guerin. He also went on to say this here when asked kind of the same question. Yeah, people say that. They're not sitting in my chair, Guerin said. That's easy to say from behind a keyboard or from whatever. I don't apologize or feel like I have to defend it. We did what we felt we had to do to keep our player. And that comes from Bill Guerin. The quote is extended there on the bottom. I do apologize about that. But Bill Guerin is standing on his business right now, and I love that from him. I feel like that's the best thing you can do, because everybody's going to complain about this contract for non-Wild fans, saying, oh, yeah, you paid Kirill Kaprizov way too much. But Bill Guerin knows best. He's been dealing with Paul Theophanous for years, and he knows what the Wild need to do to keep Kirill Kaprizov, what the Wild need to do to win a Stanley Cup, and that involves both Kaprizov and the rest of what they're going to have to do. Let's keep in mind, he had some very good contracts, so he can actually pay Kirill Kaprizov that much, and they can afford to and still have cap space left to maneuver. So I love it. Thank you, Bill Guerin, for coming out, shutting down people by saying this idea, because that's all we've seen since that deal has been signed, especially after every other deal from not just Kyle Connor, Jack Eichel, Connor McDavid, everyone that comes out, you're always seeing this come back to the Minnesota Wild, and I approve Bill Guerin's message there that, it's not as easy as it may seem. But one more thing before we do finish this video off, I do have some updates on the staff. Brad Bombardier, Senior Director of Player Development Promotion, Taylor Cashman, Senior Manager of Hockey Administration, Danny Kaplan, the Senior Hockey Operations Analyst, and the Wild named Alex Goligoski, a Player Development Advisor, Eric Heasley, a Scout, and Abby Ives, a Hockey Operations Analyst. So congratulations to all of them on their new roles here with this team, but that's all I got here in this one. Let me know what you think about everything that just went on regarding not just the roster tonight and all that, but how the Wild may kind of maneuver around this free agency, these free agents, I should say, with another center, and also what Bill Guerin had to say about Kirill Kaprizov. But that is all I have in this video. If you did enjoy, give it a like, hit the sub button as well. I'm signing out, though. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later.